All right, fellow hustlers, we're back with another episode. And today we have a cool guest, man, Mr. Nieko J. Blends. How you doing today, man?
Good. I appreciate you for having me on, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming in. I know we've been talking for a little while,
Yes, sir.
and we finally made it happen.
Yeah, busy schedules.
Yeah. How you liking this weather? You like the cold?
I personally like the cold, so
You do?
Amarillo's a nice place for me.
You do. Are you for the people that don't know you? Let's start off by talking about you. Where are you from? Did you grow up here in Amarillo?
No, I did not grow up in Amarillo. It's a long drawn out, but we can try to condense it a little bit here. But I was born in Gallup, New Mexico. From there, as a baby, I moved to Arizona. Then from Arizona, moved to Washington State when I was, I think, 3 or 4.
Wow.
From Washington State, moved to Japan, lived there for 4 years. Came back to the States, moved to Denver, Colorado. From Denver, Colorado, moved to New Mexico my 6th grade year for 1 year. Then moved to Central Texas to Copper's Cove. My dad was stationed there in Fort Hood. From there, moved back to New Mexico for my sophomore year. Then moved to Tennessee for my my junior year. Kentucky, graduated my senior year, and then enlisted in the military. Went to the Air Force for 5 years. Was stationed in Dover, Delaware, Dover Air Force Base. But generally, that's what the path I took for growing up. So
you've been everywhere.
yes, sir.
Is it the military life? I'm guessing.
Yes, sir.
Your dad, you said.
Yeah, my dad was in the Army for 22 years.
Wow.
So we got to go travel all over the world with him.
Yeah.
But I've been in Amarillo since 2015.
2015.
So,
So you're fairly new.
Fairly new.
Yeah.
But this is the longest place I've lived somewhere.
It's really.
Yeah,
Do you plan on staying here or?
I do. A lot of opportunities have arisen for me to venture off or go somewhere bigger, quote unquote.
Bigger.
But I thoroughly enjoy Amarillo. I have 4 kids now.
Okay.
I'm married, and this is just a great place to raise a family.
Yeah. It's not too big and not too small.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
If you want to get to go somewhere, bigger city, you can venture off, have a weekend, getaway weekend, go vacation, and whatnot. But Amarillo is just a great place economically.
Yeah.
And pay raise wise,
Yeah.
pay rate wise.
Yeah. How was it growing up for you as a military kid?
Honestly, I've always been extroverted because of that. And I feel like it's never been too tough. Because we were born and raised in that. So you never had to really adjust to anything else because that's all you ever knew.
Yeah.
So for me, it was never really a hard adjustment. Now,
Yeah.
with my kids now, it's different because they've all gone to the same school. My daughter went to the same elementary school her entire time.
That makes it hard. Huh?
So it's different. Our lives have they're very not parallel. Yeah, they are parallel. So yeah.
That's cool, man. And then growing up, how you grew up where? You said you started off living where at?
Born in New Mexico.
Born in New Mexico.
Yeah.
How long were you there?
Short time, like maybe a year or 2.
Was it?
Yeah.
How was it living in Japan?
Japan is amazing.
Is it?
Yeah, I love Japanese culture. Partially, I think that has to come with being half Asian as well. My father, he's a immigrant from Thailand. He moved to America when he was 7.
Wow.
But so just having that Asian side, and actually being able to live in Asia, I think was a really dope thing
That's
to do.
dope. Yeah. So and you're half Asian and half what?
Half Thai and half Navajo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you speak any of those languages?
Unfortunately, no.
No.
I probably know more Spanish than any of those other languages.
The other ones?
Yeah.
Because I thought you were like Hispanic.
Everybody thinks I'm Hispanic.
Yeah.
I work in a shop with 5 other Mexicans.
Yeah.
And I'm the only one that's not Mexican. So everybody just assumes all the time they come into the shop and just start going off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Especially when they're like the Mexican people like talk to you because they expect you to know Spanish, right? You're like, man, I don't know either. I know it, but it happens to a lot of my friends.
Yeah. And it's crazy when I first started working at the shop. I feel like the older generation was a lot more strict and adamant in their belief systems years ago. But as time goes on, so when I first started barbering, which was in 2016 at that shop, if older people would come in and they start talking down to you because you don't know Spanish. But I'm like, I'm not even Hispanic.
Yeah, because they thought you knew.
Yeah, but
That's cool. Let's get into that. So you're a barber at what was it again?
Executive Barbershop.
Executive Barbershop. And you just rent out a booth there and stuff, or do you own it? Do you run it?
No, I don't own it. The owner is Xavier Navarez. He went to PD. But he's let me work there. I've been a booth renter there for the past 9 years now. So
wow.
2024, I started working there in August of 2016.
Nice.
Yeah. So he's very, very influential person to me.
Yeah.
Great mentor. So
Awesome.
I just decided to stick it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How? Where is it located?
It is located between 27. It's on 27th Avenue between Grand and Ross.
Grand and Ross. Okay. I got you.
By it's like there's a Milan Institute used to be
Okay.
over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
down the street from that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a good area. Um, and then so what inspired you to get into that, into the barber industry? What did you do before?
Before I was in the Air Force, right out of high school, joined the Air Force. I was in for 5 years. Did 3 deployments in that time. I got out, and for me, I was battling a lot of PTSD, alcohol addiction, stuff like that. So
Oh.
from I got out of the military, moved to Miami, Florida. That's where a lot of my life imploded on itself. I was married at the time with my ex-wife.
Yeah.
Things just was a lot of just destructive things going on with myself. So
No, that's. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, so I left there, went to New Mexico with my aunt, because my aunt was like, one of those people that I feel like the leash would be real loose with her.
Yeah.
So I knew that
Get away
I would
with
get
stuff.
with the stuff with her.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go stay with my parents,
Yeah.
and my parents moved here to Amarillo. And so I went over there and just life was just constantly beating me down. So
Yeah.
finally I gave in, moved here to Texas with my mom.
Yeah.
I had gotten married while I was in New Mexico, like 3 months
Yeah.
after I was divorced. Well,
Wow.
no, not 3 months. I would say 6 months after I was divorced.
Yeah.
But I'm still married.
Yeah.
10
To
years
that
in.
same?
To my wife.
Okay.
Things just work out when they work out.
Yeah.
But moved here to Texas. I seen a commercial on the TV because I was working at Sam's Club overnight. And coming from the military, not to discredit anybody's pathway of work or the job they're in, but going from the military where you have some type of stature, you have, in a sense, a purpose,
Yeah.
and leaving that and going to work and stock overnight at Sam's Club on a nightly basis,
Yeah.
for me, I was just like, there's got to be there's
More
got
to
to be
this.
more to life, than just what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. And for me, I'm highly driven in trying to find that purpose.
Yeah.
And so the barbering, I seen that commercial, and I was like, I've dabbled with cutting hair before,
Yeah.
when I was in the military. So I was like, I'm gonna go talk to this person at the school.
Yeah.
Went over there, applied, got in,
Nice.
and went to school. And from that point, I really found a therapy in it.
Into
And
cutting hair.
so that therapy really helped, make my life, have purpose. And I was able to use all the addictive personality I had with
Yeah.
the other things and push it in, funnel into something positive.
Yep.
So I was able to do that through barbering, and I thank God that I was able to find that escape, that outlet
With cutting
barbering.
hair.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like God just put that in my path, and
To help you, right?
yeah, to help me.
Yeah. I kind of want to go back to that the military stuff. So
Yeah.
what'd you do in the military?
So I work logistics. So I loaded and unloaded aircraft.
Okay.
I was able to load plan an aircraft, which is like getting the weight and balance of things. Worked cargo warehouses. Also physically loaded the planes.
Oh, wow.
Anything that goes on a plane, whether it
You
be
did.
tanks, MRAPs, helos, whatever you could fit on a plane,
Wow.
we're able to put it on there.
And then you did 3 tours, you said?
3 tours. My
Where
first tour was in Balad, Iraq. That
Okay.
was in 2010 to 11. Then I was in Afghanistan, in Bagram, Afghanistan, 2012 into 13. Then I was in the United Arab Emirates in Abu Dhabi from 2013 into 14.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service,
Oh,
by the
I
way.
appreciate
Man,
that,
that means
man.
a lot.
Thank you.
It takes a special kind of person to go out there, and
Yeah.
put your life on the line, basically.
It was a very good experience.
Yeah.
I feel like
Which one was your favorite one, like tour?
my favorite tour, I think it'd have to be my first tour, just because of the people that I was there with.
Yeah.
When I have a good friend, we don't talk much, but when we do talk, he's always there. He's like a brother to me. But he really was there over me as a very positive person in my first deployment. So he just really kind of guided me and was like that big brother to me that I
Yeah.
needed. And that establishing that relationship in that time, in that
Yeah.
moment, is something that I hold like within me for
Yeah.
a long time. And not only that, I was in country with my father as well. I was in
Okay.
Balad, which is like maybe an hour north of Baghdad.
Okay.
My dad was in Mosul, which is right near the Turkish border. So
Oh,
I got to
nice.
see my dad 4 times
While
while
you
I
were
was in
there.
Iraq. So that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And he was in the military too at that time?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
dope, man.
We literally got out the same year.
Really?
I got out May of 2015. He got out June of 2015.
Was he your inspiration to get into the military?
I really feel that he was. Also on my mom's side, I have family that are Navajo code talkers. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the history of the Marines, but in World War II,
Okay.
the Navajo code talkers were used to send messages that couldn't be deciphered by the Japanese.
To
So
break it down.
yeah, so I have great uncles who were Marines and they're Navajo
That's
code
cool.
talkers. My dad, of course, was Army. My grandfather was Army, and my great grandfather was Marine. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's dope, man. Actually, I had a brother. He passed away when he was 18, but he was already signed up to go to the Marines and all that stuff.
oh
But
yeah.
then he passed away, so he couldn't make it. But he was gonna go over
My
there.
condolences, man. It's
Nah,
tough.
thank you. No,
Loss is tough,
it is. It
and
is. But
and that's something I could uh, relate to. Is I had a my cousin, who was like a brother to me.
yeah.
He passed away the year, so 2013 and 14, before I went to Abu Dhabi. He passed away literally a week before I shipped out.
Man, it's
Um,
gotta be tough.
it was tough. I went, left, came back. My grandmother passed away,
Shoot,
and
man.
then I separated from the military
Yeah.
that May, and then I was divorced that year. Later that year.
Wow. So do you think like being in the military kind of, or you talked about PTSD and all that stuff? Do you think it messes with your head whenever you get out of it to where you feel lost? Is there like, do you feel like there's enough resources for you for the people that get out of the military?
I think there's a lot of resources. Well, personally, I did not think. I know there is a lot of resources
Yeah.
out there. I think the problem is that with a lot of men, you don't tend to speak out or
Yeah.
get help or seek help for anything because we've if you've grown up with an older generation, like if your father was there,
Yeah.
you know for a fact how they raised you to be tough, to
Yeah.
be calloused, to be like stone, you know, and so a lot of times you're not going to go out and seek help for those things.
Yeah.
So for me, having kids is what really softened my heart in that
Yeah.
area. I quit barbering for a short stint in 2018 to go to Afghanistan on a contract job,
Oh wow.
and then when I was out there, there's a lot of stuff going on, and
Yeah.
it's life or death any day.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't need to be here. I have two kids
I'm
at
a
home.
kids. Yeah.
I have my wife was pregnant with my third at
Wow.
the time, and so I was like, I'm gonna go home. So
Yeah.
I came home and I was like, I'm gonna seek help for the things that I'm going through. I went through therapy over there, counseling and stuff like that. They put me on. I'm not a big fan of like medication and stuff, but I just wanted to try to see what would help,
Yeah. How did it
and so I
work
did
with you?
get put on some medication, but my boss is like, "Bro, you're a zombie on
You're a
this stuff."
zombie.
Like, so I
Yeah.
found other ways to get through things
Cope
through
with
through the
stuff.
VA and stuff like that. So it really helped out by just seeking it,
Yeah.
and a lot of times just seeking somebody that has been through something.
Yeah.
Being able to like drop your guard down, your pride, your ego, and be able to be like, "Hey, bro, like I'm struggling with this. Like, can you
Yeah.
help me out with this?" And
That's important. We talk about it a lot that men try to be tough, we don't want to ask for help, but it's okay. I mean, everybody has feelings.
yeah,
I think we need to stop being hard headed.
yeah.
But it's okay to ask for help.
And I think that the younger generation, to be honest, like that's something I see within like cutting hair. The younger generation, it feels like they're more apt to do that. They're a little bit they're very good at asking for help. I feel
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
as opposed to the older generation. I think
Yeah.
that's a balance that you need to have is to be able to have some type of masculinity, but also be able to be soft enough to seek help when you need it.
Yeah, for sure. So back to the barbing stuff, barber school and stuff. You went to school, got out. You started at that place automatically.
Yeah.
So you've been there ever since.
Ever since. It's the
Yeah.
only shop I've ever worked at, and I feel that that's one of the biggest keys to the success that I've gained is just that continuity, just
Yeah.
being consistently in the same place and allowing clients to find you where you're at all the time. And I'm thankful to my boss for letting me work there because he let me work there before I was even licensed.
Oh, really?
So he took a chance and a gamble on like,
Yeah.
I'm going to give this guy a shot. And he did, and I'm forever grateful for that, and I've been there ever since.
Is it hard to get into a shop like that, or you think it's easier nowadays?
I think it's all about connections, just who
Connections?
networking.
Yeah.
At the time I was cutting this, I worked at Sam's Club. So one of my coworkers, I was cutting, he asked me for a haircut, so I cut his hair. So he was kind of going between me and my boss between haircuts. So he would come to the school, get a haircut from me. Sometimes he would go to my boss and get a haircut sometimes. And then so he was like, hey, I have a guy I know that needs help at his barbershop. You should talk to him. So I said, well, put us, in network together.
Yeah.
And so he did. I went over and talked to my boss. And the first weekend I actually worked was back to school weekend
Oh,
of
really?
2016.
Busy.
And from that, I was at the time like, I was like, man, if I can make this much money in a weekend.
Yeah.
Like this is gonna be
It's dope.
worth it. But that's back to school week, and little did I know the sacrifices that would happen.
After that.
After that
Yeah.
that honeymoon stage, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, what's been the most challenging part of starting barber?
The most challenging thing in starting barbering, especially if you have a family, which I do have a family,
Yep.
is the sacrifice portion of time and money. You're
Mhm.
gonna sacrifice time and money. It's a very difficult thing to get in at first because you are the low man on the totem pole.
Yeah.
Like just like any job, you're gonna start from the
Start
bottom
from the
and
bottom.
gradually get promoted in
Yeah.
a sense.
Yeah.
And so at the very beginning, I remember there was days I would make like $40 and sit there for like 9, 10 hours.
That's tough, huh?
It's very tough.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, you're kind of your own boss, right?
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, you don't get paid unless you're bringing people in
Exactly.
and cutting.
So
That's hard.
and with that, that's where a big part of like the social media thing became a big help because I
Mhm.
started to go live when I was in school on Facebook and stuff like that. So I'm already letting people know that hey,
you
I'm a
do this.
barber, and so and also just letting people know at Sam's Club. I have clients from Sam's Club that have been with me ever since. I have one client that would come to me that I worked with. His name's Jesse, and
Mhm.
he's the bakery manager at Sam's Club to this day.
Oh, really?
At the time, we were both just working,
Yeah.
but like part time.
Yeah.
And so now he's in a management position, and he's brought me, I want to say, like maybe 5 clients from that place.
Really?
Yeah, and he has friends that don't work there, but it's another thing, word of mouth, just getting
Referrals.
referrals.
Yeah.
These people that live, that work in these jobs,
Mhm.
they constantly see people see their haircuts, they come and get a haircut.
And social media works, bro, because that's how I saw you
Yeah,
on. I think it was YouTube, maybe,
probably
or
maybe
Facebook.
I think Facebook.
Facebook. I think
Yeah.
it was Facebook. But that's how I saw you. I was like, man, he's staying active and getting out there. I was like, I want to talk to him.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is just not being scared to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
As social media can be a gift and a curse. I feel like a lot of people, the majority of people, use it as something that is meaningless. It's a lot of complaining and sharing of stuff that's not really productive for society or life. But there's those people that use that social media as a platform to further their business
Yeah.
or to inspire, to instruct, and to educate. Those type of things.
Let's talk about some of the things you got going on. You say you do some classes.
Oh yeah,
I also see that you post a lot of equipment.
yeah.
Do you just do the reviews, or is that something you came up with, or?
So I initially started my platform on YouTube to do reviews and unboxings, haircut
Okay,
tutorials,
yeah.
and that's how I grew my social media platform on that. And then I also grew on Instagram just through posting funny memes that
Yeah.
people could identify with, and also haircut videos and stuff like that.
I like those.
That catapulted. I grew up to 22K followers on IG, almost
Mhm.
9K on YouTube, and that allowed barber companies and supply companies and these different clipper companies to kind of hone in and see
Mhm.
that. And so I am sponsored by a clipper company called
Alright.
the Pissed Off Barber, T-Pop for short. I have my own signature clipper with that company as well that I
Oh,
get
wow.
profit from. So I also get profit from a discount code from them, and I've just been working with that company since they nearly when they first started, and
Yeah.
they've grown and
Where are they out of?
out of the UK.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
How did they reach out to you? Just Instagram?
just Instagram, well, YouTube at first because I bought something on Amazon.
Yeah.
I thought I'm gonna do a haircut video with the Amazon tool,
Yeah, yeah.
and little did I know that there are quality products out there besides your big name companies that you
Yeah.
have. So I bought that off of Amazon for like $30.
Mhm.
Did a haircut unboxing with it, tool unboxing, and then the guy messaged me, the owner of the company, and he was like, "Hey, if you like that, let me send you something else."
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right." So he sent me another tool, and at that time, I was doing unboxing and reviews for
Different ones.
all companies.
Yeah.
And then so I did the next video, and then there was a clipper that was coming out that was like going to change kind of the game a little bit.
Mhm.
And he's like, "Hey, do you want this?" So it's pretty cool that I was the first person in the States with
Really?
that clipper. And from there, he just I haven't yet to sign a contract with this guy.
Yeah.
This has just been word is bond
Word of
type
mouth,
thing,
yeah.
and and he's not done me dirty, and I remain loyal to the brand because
That's cool.
I mean you don't get a lot of people that are like that anymore.
So you're making money off of that too?
Yeah, so I'm
Man,
making
that's dope.
I've monetized my YouTube, Instagram, and then also my affiliate with that company. So
Yeah. Man, you got it. That's the right way to do it.
yeah,
I wish. I mean, I don't wish. I mean, it'd be good if every barber would do that. And that goes to every industry.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They could be doing that in a lot of different places too.
Most definitely. But
Yeah.
just like barbering and trying to build, clients
Yeah.
in the same instance,
Mhm.
social media is a grind as well.
It's hard,
It's
right?
very
Your
hard.
YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, and you guys know from just what you're doing here is how
Yeah.
much it takes to edit, how
Edit.
much it
Yeah.
takes to that's. I mean, I feel like that's the hardest portion of anything is
Yeah.
editing,
Editing. Takes
and
forever.
my family took the sacrifice. I'd work 12 hours, come home, and on my
Edit
day off, I'm editing
on the
YouTube
couch.
videos, and
That's
just
yeah.
and not to say that I'm neglecting my family, but I'm really appreciative of my wife because she's really stuck it out through the grind of things,
Mhm.
and really, understood that all the sacrifice and in what in all the things that may have been put to the side or the back burner, this and that have were for a purpose.
Yeah.
And I thank God that she was able to understand that, and I'm grateful for her support as well, because
Yeah.
without a significant other that can really support and back you,
Yeah.
you're not going to be that successful.
No.
No,
They hold you back.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or they could either hold you back or catapult you forward. It just depends.
So you would say that's your biggest support system? Your wife, your kids,
My wife, my kids, and my parents.
your parents.
Those are
Where
my main circle right there.
where are your parents here?
Yeah, my parents are
They're
here.
both here.
They moved here first. My dad moved here to work with Pantex.
Okay, so that's how you ended up here.
Yeah, so
Oh,
I
nice.
ended up here because they were here, and my dad was like, "Hey, come out here. Your prior service, try to apply at Pantex," and so I that was my initial goal.
To go to Panther.
Yeah, but then I picked up the Clippers, and I was
Man,
like, "Nah, I
you're
like
good at
this."
it. You're good at
Thank
it.
you, I
Stick with
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. What about the shows and classes that you talked about earlier that you do?
Yeah, shows and classes. So because of the social media platform you get, other people tend to, they see that and they gravitate to that. And then so I've done, I want to say every month for the past 2 years, I have been out of the city in a
Okay.
different city doing a class, judging barber battles. The
Mhm.
barber battle scene is pretty huge in Texas. So
Really?
and across the country, but Texas is mainly the biggest place that I feel like the barber community here is very
Yeah.
tight knit and it's very competitive.
How many people go to those? Is there a lot of people?
Yeah, the biggest show I've been to, I'd have to say there were at least say 2,000, 2,500
Wow,
people.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
a lot of people.
And you get to judge haircuts and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
so it's they usually have
Have
like
you have you been in one?
I've been in a few.
Okay.
The last one I was in, I won was they had one at Contagion Athletics
Okay.
here
Yeah, yeah.
a couple years ago. I won first place in
Oh,
a
really?
haircut. Yeah, it was like $500, and
How do you win? Just the cooler design, or
it
who
all
cuts it the fastest, or how does that work?
honestly it all depends because there's categories. So the one at Contagion was kind of just an like fastest haircut, best whatever you could produce.
Okay.
In that time frame that they give you 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
And so for me, I did a bald fade. I did like a little part in the hair.
Mhm.
I edged up my brother's eyebrows, his facial
Oh, yeah.
hair, and then like to put color enhancement in it.
Yeah.
And then so I feel like people seeing the judges seeing all that went into the haircut,
20 minutes.
in 20 minutes, and they're
Wow.
like, all right, so I won that one. But so with those barber battles, there's many different categories. You could have like the best mullet, the best
Oh,
cut.
okay.
There's different things.
I got you.
And every person that organizes the events has different parameters for, and then so the judges they judge based off
Off of
those
those.
parameters.
Okay.
But it's also what they see in their eye. So a lot
Yeah.
of times you'll have like 3 to 8 judges.
Mhm.
That way you can have more of a equal opportunity,
Yeah.
to win. So
Yeah. That's
yeah.
cool, man. And where's you said you go to Dallas, Tennessee? You talked about Tennessee. Where all have you been?
With this, I've been to California. I've been to Corpus multiple times, San
Wow.
Antonio multiple times, Lubbock, Midland, Nashville twice, Austin, Dallas. I've taught a lot of classes as well in those cities. So it's really cool opportunity
Yeah.
to get yourself. And another thing is that when you go to these events, you're also networking with other people
Yeah.
and just kind of getting your name out there
Mhm.
more.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I always find it like really humbling to go to these different cities and places and actually have people know you.
Yeah. That's
And
cool. Huh?
yeah, one of the coolest things is like kids, they'll tell me like, yeah, man, I watched your videos while I was in barber school and
Yeah.
how like, and those are the things that make you want to pursue and
Try
do
harder.
it more, you know?
Mhm.
And it's just a great opportunity aside from all the other things, just networking, getting your name out
Name out
there.
there for sure.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself? You're a creator now. I mean, you get paid for it.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Do you plan on like going on that route later on? Or you still gonna keep cutting hair
Honestly,
for as long as you can?
I want to be able to do both.
Yeah.
And so I've grown my clientele to a point where I could take I could work in the shop, 3 to 4 days,
Mm-hmm.
and then have a day of just straight up content creation,
Yeah.
or a day or two, just depending on how my schedule is. But that I don't ever want to not cut hair.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what got you here.
yeah, that's the initial thing that
Yeah.
what became my therapy at the beginning, and I
Mhm.
want to that'll continue on that. That's something that I was blessed with some skills, so I feel like carrying on in that passion
Yeah.
is what is going to be my foundation.
Yeah.
And
That's
all the
dope.
other things that are around it are a supplemental.
From that.
Yeah.
That's good, man. Is there anybody else in Amarillo that's doing that? Do you know?
A lot of people are they do put out content.
Yeah.
I'm not sure as big as a reach,
Mhm.
but there's a lot of people that
But
do a
the like
lot
the
of great work.
classes and the
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I know Josue.
Josue.
We talked about him.
Yeah, we
He's
had
done
him
a
in the
couple
studio.
classes.
Yeah.
But other than that, I can't really think of a lot of people that do too many classes. But we do have a great place that is able to house stuff like that, and that's Fort Worth Barber Supply.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of that. It's a barber supply store over in Wilflin Square Plaza.
Mhm.
It's right next to GNC, but it's a huge barber supply. They got everything you
Yeah.
need in there. But
And then anybody can go in there and buy, or just
yeah,
barbers?
anybody can go in there. And that's where I've done multiple classes, and also me and the guy that owns that barber supply, we did a barber battle last summer,
Oh wow.
and we packed that place out.
Really?
It was awesome.
That's cool.
It was
man.
it was cool to see like the barber community in this area just come out in full support and
Yeah.
just go hard,
Yeah.
and it was really an awesome experience.
That's dope, man. What about when you're cutting hair? Like, what's one of the craziest stories that you've heard? Of
Crazy
someone-
stories.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure you have a lot.
There is countless,
Yeah.
just you hear people's dirty laundry.
Yeah.
You hear stories about this person. Maybe this girl who's been with all
Yeah.
these people.
You know
just,
more than you.
Yeah, I feel like the barber shop is. I've always said that the barber shop is a place to go to get like a lot of new stuff, and also if you need a mechanic, like
Mhm.
that's a great place to have a referral for mechanics, plumbers.
Y'all
this,
know everyone.
everyone.
I've been with my barber like 10 years,
Yeah,
and he knows everybody. Mechanic, like you say,
yeah.
every trade he knows. He's like, hit this guy up.
And my boss has been doing this since he was 12. He was cutting
Oh, wow.
he was cutting in his mom's laundry room since he was 12. So he knows a lot of people. He plays in a band as well too. So his networking is just out there. So
yeah.
anytime I have a question, I'm like, where's a good tire place? Where's this? Where's that? He always has information for me.
Yeah. Are there any new trends that are coming out? Because I know before, like the razor, you couldn't use it, right? Or they didn't.
Oh,
Now they started using it.
yeah.
Or I guess my barber did.
I think it's just
It's
it was a
newer.
lost art. I feel like people just gravitated to more technology,
Yeah.
and so like shavers, they get honestly, in my opinion as a barber, shavers get closer than a razor blade will.
Oh yeah.
Just the way that the shaver functions,
Mhm.
but I do use a razor. Everybody in my barbershop uses a razor, but I feel like I don't know. We've always used it, and I've heard from people that come in, clients that come in, they're like, when they ask for an edge up, they're like, "You use the razor, right?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah." I mean, in my head, I thought
There's no
everybody did.
No,
Like
they used to not use it.
yeah, that's a crazy thought process because
Yeah.
I feel like that's a big staple to barbering as a whole.
Yeah.
That's and so
I feel like they gotta wait from it for a little bit, and then now it's back. So that's cool.
and it is cool. Just things constantly change,
Mhm.
trends constantly change.
Yeah.
Like one of
So whenever you're not cutting hair, what do you like to do for fun?
so for fun, I do a lot of stuff with the church I go to.
Where do you
So I go to the Potter's House. It's on Paramount,
Paramount.
across from Hummers.
Okay, yeah.
But I play in the worship team there,
Oh,
and I also
nice.
work sound. And so I'm constantly doing a lot of stuff at the church as well.
Man.
So I stay busy with that. So my passion, I love music.
Yeah.
So I play
What do you
guitar.
play?
I play guitar, piano, bass, and the
Dang.
ukulele. So
What can you not do? No, just kidding.
there's a lot I can't do, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
things that I can do, I'm grateful for the skill set that I do have. So.
Yeah, so you're pretty involved in your church, barbering, social media, things like that. You
Yes.
like to go fishing, play
Oh,
basketball.
I love fishing,
You do?
but I just haven't dug out in a while. It's been pretty chilly and stuff.
Yeah, it's cold now.
One of the biggest struggles about fishing in Amarillo is just the wind.
It's windy.
You got to find a really good day to go
Yeah.
fishing. If not, it's gonna be horrible.
He ruins it, bro.
Yeah, I
I
mean-
like to go to the lake and yeah, it gets windy.
Fishing's a great pastime. But with 4 kids, I stay busy just with a lot of. My daughter plays basketball right now, so she's
Okay.
playing for Fannin. So I got a game to go to this evening and
Really?
Saturday. So just staying busy with family life.
That's good.
Barbering. I'm just real simple.
Yeah.
I'm not some crazy out there person. Just real simple.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
That helps you keep your mind focused too.
Yeah.
You got your kids that you're doing it for, your church, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your career at the end of the day. So I was gonna ask you, what's one of the weirdest like haircuts you've done?
The weirdest haircut I've
Yeah.
ever done is like an old school style haircut. It's called a horseshoe mullet.
Horseshoe mullet.
Yeah, basically the ball of your head is exposed,
The
and the rest of your hair is flattened to even with the ball of your
Wow.
head. And so I remember that was like when I first started barbering.
You didn't video it?
No, I didn't. My boss, I was in the bathroom, and my boss knocks on the thing. He's like, "Hey, you know how to do a horseshoe mullet?" I was like, "No, I've never heard of it."
Google it.
And he's like, so I was sitting there. I was like, he's like, "Can you do it?" I was like, "Hold on," and I was like, googling. I was like, "Yeah, I think I can." So I hurry up and watch a YouTube tutorial, like a YouTube video of somebody doing one.
Yeah.
And so I went out there, did my best to do it. The
Yeah.
dude was ecstatic. So, but that was a really difficult haircut to do because it's so short, but you still have to maintain the shape of that flatness.
I don't think I've seen it before.
I mean that's probably got to be like the weirdest, not the weirdest, but the most out there haircut that I've done. And also I had this guy move from Cali, and he was a waiter, but he got a taper on the back, but they leave like a hard line at the bottom, and they grow out that hair at the bottom.
What the?
Yeah, that was a weird haircut. I forget what it's called, but my bosses tell me that they do it in Chicago as well and in the Bay Area of California.
Yeah, maybe from over there. Huh?
Yeah, and I used to have this guy. He was from some little town outside of Amarillo, but he would come every 4th of July, get a Texas state on the side, and then get a U.S. flag on the other side.
America.
Yeah,
that's cool. Do you dye too or no? The colors?
No, I haven't got into that. I know that's a bit. The market is getting bigger for that, but I feel like in Amarillo it's not as big.
Yeah.
Because I started doing like those man units. I don't know if you ever seen the man units before too, where like dudes are balding and they put like the hair on the
hair
top.
on the fake hair.
Me and a old coworker of mine, we've done those before.
Oh, really?
But it just never popped off in this area. I think you need a bigger demographic to get into that.
Yeah. What services do y'all offer over there? Just haircuts,
haircut and beard. Do the hot towel with the steamer if it's requested. Eyebrows. Just real basic. The typical things you would see at different barbers. So it's not like some it's not like a high end elegant type. It's more of like a down to earth mom and pop type vibe you get there.
That's cool. What let's talk about prices because we were talking about it the other day, and when I started getting a haircut when I first moved to Amarillo, it was 2013 I think. I was paying $15.
Oh wow.
And that was like 45, 50.
Yeah. So
they got up there, right?
Yeah, it's
Is that across the whole? I mean, in the barber community, that's the basic price, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So I would say like average pricing I see in Amarillo right now is like 30 to 35.
Yeah.
And then your people who've been in the game a little bit longer, or are more booked up, that I see you're looking up into the like 50 to 60 price range.
Yeah.
But honestly, like talking to people that I know in other bigger cities, that's kind of cheap.
Yeah. Because they charge way more.
Yeah, Austin, San Antonio, Houston. These bigger cities, like they're charging a lot. But
wild.
we charge 40 for a cut, 50 for haircut and beard.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Well, if you weren't a barber, what do you think you'd be doing?
Honestly, if I wasn't a barber, I love planes.
Planes?
And yeah, I mean, just being when I was in the Air Force, I worked with planes on a daily basis. And when I moved here, I wanted to get into air freight, which is what I was, generally doing when I was in the military. But the closest air freight they have is in the FedEx air freight over in Lubbock, North Lubbock. Yeah.
It's Plainview.
Oh, is it Plainview?
Yeah,
Plainview. So right there. So, but that's too far of a drive for me. But honestly, if I wasn't doing, I'd probably be doing something in that realm. But I'm glad that I found barbering because I like the fact of being able to dictate my schedule the way I want.
You're your own boss. At
Yeah,
the end of the day.
in a sense, I do respect the owner of the shop.
Owner, yeah.
The biggest thing is communicating. But as long as you communicate with him, you have free range to just do what you need to do.
Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I like that freedom.
Yeah. We're here right now. So
Yeah, we're here right now on a day that the shop's open, and then I got a game to go to later on for my daughter. It's very it makes life easier
that
makes things flow.
flexibility. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I only have a couple more questions, bro.
Okay.
I do want to appreciate you for coming in.
Thank you.
I know we talked a couple of times about, and we're finally making it happen. So
Yes, sir.
appreciate your time, and hopefully we stay connected, and
Yes, sir.
maybe do it another time. You know.
That'd be cool.
But I have a couple of quick questions. What if a haircut goes wrong? Say you have a unsatisfied customer. What do you do there? How do you go about it?
In that instance, I feel like the biggest thing is just being honest with the person. I've messed up. I had a client one time, and he had like a wavelength hair,
Mm-hmm.
and I went and the guard came off,
Oh
and I
shoot!
patched him right in the middle.
Ooh,
And
yeah,
I told him, look, bro, I patched you. You know, I faded the best I could around that area to make it blend as possible as I could.
yeah,
I gave him 3 free haircuts, and I was like, "Look, bro, you're a waiver. The hair's gonna lay down over that.
Yeah.
Like, give it like 4 weeks,
Yeah.
and you'll be good."
Yeah.
And then like he's been my client for a long time. Like I've cut him since he was in high school, and
Oh, wow.
he's a landscaper or was landscaping at
Yeah.
the time. So he always wearing a beanie. So, but just being honest,
When it
owning up to
happens.
what happened, and being able to compensate that person, and understanding from their side of that, you did disrupt something, you messed up. So
Mhm.
just own up to it and, compensate your client.
Yeah, I mean that's good.
Yeah.
And he comes back to you still.
Yeah.
That's
He
good.
moved to Lubbock, but whenever he is in Amarillo,
Yeah.
he does come back.
That's dope. What about if you could invent a new tool for like barbers? Well, for barbers, do you think there's a tool out there that hasn't been invented that would make it easier for y'all?
I think the one of the things that I always talk about, which I hear from a lot of people, is it's very difficult to do, is just to get something like a barber tool that is able to last like 10 hours.
Yeah.
Like longevity.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of tools out there, you're looking at 3 to 4 hour runtime,
Mhm.
but you have to charge it, in that aspect. But I think like for me, just being able to have a long lasting clipper
Yeah.
would be very beneficial.
cool.
I think that's
Because you have to have a lot of each right now, right?
yeah.
A couple. Three?
I mean, for the most part, right now, I feel like there's a lot of different cameras can last hours. There's a lot of things that last that long, but
Yeah.
I think it's just the power that goes into a clipper. You need a bigger battery, a lot of logistics to it, but I feel like that would be the most
Mhm.
beneficial thing to barbering. I mean, there's
Longer.
really nothing else that you could really
Everything's
add.
out there, huh?
Yeah, everything's there.
That's cool.
It's all preference at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's out there. What about last one? What if you could cut any celebrity's hair? Who would it be, and why?
All right, so that's easy. That I would want to cut Rick Ross's hair.
Rick Ross.
Yeah, I love cutting hair, that hair texture, and also doing beard work.
Yeah.
He has
He has
like
a
one of
big
the
old beard.
yeah, he has a big old beard.
Yeah.
And just being, I would that would be the only person in my head that I could think of, like, I want to cut that person's
Send
hair.
him a DM, bro.
And it was crazy because he was here in Amarillo.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen. He posted he was at Cadillac
Cadillac
Ranch.
Ranch,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I was like, man, that'd be crazy. And it's crazy because I lived in Miami too for a little bit, and just that Rick Ross, the type of influence he has over there.
Yeah.
I just think that'd be cool
That'd be cool, huh?
to cut him up.
Send him a DM.
Yeah.
Did you see that he got his yard done? There was a guy on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
I think it's called like the Yard Guy or something. And he saw one of his videos and liked how he cuts his yard. So he went and cut his mansion and all. Have you seen that?
I watched that guy,
You
the
saw
yard
that?
guy.
Yeah. That's cool, huh?
It's very satisfying to watch stuff
It blew
like
him
that.
up.
Yeah,
They
that's
blew
crazy.
that guy up. Yeah, it's crazy.
I have to check out that conversation on that aspect of what happened, because
Yeah.
that's cool.
It
You know,
is- it's
and
awesome.
he just seems like a down to earth type of person,
does,
to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Just looking from the outside in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of music do you like?
Music, I listen to everything.
Yeah.
Being a musician, playing music, you tend to listen to everything. But
Yeah.
I'd say the biggest 2 genres of music that I consume are like at the opposite ends of the spectrum. But it's 90s R&B
Uh-huh.
or metal.
Oh wow.
So those are like the 2 most consumed genres of music I listen to. But overall, I listen to everything.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. What about okay? Sorry, I had one more.
Oh no problem.
If you had what advice would you give to anybody that wants to get into barbing, the barber school and all that stuff? What's an advice you'd give to them, younger or older? Because anybody can do it, really.
Yeah, anybody can do it. I was just, it's funny you brought that up because there was a barber forum on Facebook, not to sidetrack from the question, but there was on the barber forum, this guy was asking about a question about barber school,
Mhm.
but he has his bachelor's in science
Oh wow.
and he has a master's in business administration.
Yeah.
And and he's going to barber school now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, it's crazy that somebody who's been through that length of school
Yeah.
is still wanting to pursue barbering.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like barbering is open to anybody and everybody.
Yeah.
And my biggest piece of advice is to understand that it's going to be a sacrifice and a struggle. It's not going to come easy. You can't come out the gate charging $50 to $60 haircuts.
Yeah.
You can't assume that you're going to have the freedom that you see more seasoned barbers have.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot of legwork. And my suggestion is like go 90 days of just straight cutting, being in the shop, getting there before the shop opens, stay later, and just give it 90 days of that and see how much you build your clientele.
Mm-hmm.
And also don't quit too early. Like stick it out at least a year.
Yeah.
And to see how it works out, because a lot of times I see so many talented barbers,
Mm-hmm.
they get out of the game quick because they don't see those fast results.
Yeah.
And with anything in life,
Yeah.
good things take time.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
true.
I just say be patient and ride it out and grind as hard as you
Grind
can.
it out.
Especially if you don't have kids, a wife.
Right.
I do not understand
Yeah.
some of these kids'
Yeah.
work ethic where they have no responsibilities or
Mhm.
priorities.
And they're not the shop.
Yeah, I mean, it kills me. But that's my biggest
Yeah.
piece of advice.
That's
I
some
have
good
to
advice,
say.
bro. Yeah. Thank you for that. And all right, guys. So thank you, Nico, again for
Yeah.
coming in.
Before we
Yeah,
cut
go
off,
ahead.
I just wanted to ask, who's your barber?
Richard Martinez.
Oh, okay.
With Rich's Barber Supply. He sells a
Over
couple
there
yeah.
on
Grand.
Grand. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's a cool
curiosity.
dude. I think I've known him. He used to be at Julian's. You know Julian?
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I would come from Wheeler and he would cut my hair.
Oh wow.
And I just stuck with him until he moved to the Grand. He got his own spot. So I've just been going on him since what, 10 years?
Wow.
It's
That's
been a long
awesome.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good. You see, and you stuck it out with your
Yeah.
barber.
Yeah.
I feel like the barber-client relationship is one of those things that always has longevity.
It does,
Especially
bro.
if you have
Because
a good one.
if I schedule something, I can't make it. Like he's cool. Like he's not. He knows I'm busy. You know. He
Yeah.
works with me. You know. So I don't know how it'd be with somewhere else, but
That's good.
I'm gonna stick with him, and he's a good dude. Hopefully, we can have him on sometime. And I try to get him into like social media.
Yeah.
I try to get him in here, but he's shy.
Oh,
He
okay.
doesn't like to talk on the cameras and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot one thing.
Yeah.
Where can they find you? Where can they find your social media and all that stuff?
Okay, I'm on TikTok. On TikTok and Instagram, you can find me at jblends, JAYBLENDS _ On YouTube, you can find me at jblends, JAYBLENDS. And on Facebook, you can find me at my name, Nieko Sansuk Jessup. But I appreciate you again for having me on this podcast. Like I told you, I'm looking to get my own too as well. I'm working on that, so
Yeah,
hopefully I
let's
can
do
have
it.
you on there as well.
Yeah,
So,
man, for sure. Yeah.
cool.
All right, hustlers, we're done with episode 35. Just know you can find these episodes on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast, and we'll see y'all next time.
Thank you.
All right, man. Thank you.